Now, yes, there are lots of empty outlets around at the moment, but you've got to be a little bit careful about what you talk about. We've just been through the worst economic downturn, or we're still in it, since the end of the war. What happens in such times is that high streets contract. And I think you will find that the majority of empty outlets are in tertiary and secondary positions. The high street is contracted into the primary space. If you look at prime space, when that comes available, on the whole it gets let. If you think back to Woolworths, and the high street is a far better place without Woolworths, it's those outlets, or most of them anyway, have been replaced with retailers who are doing what Woolworths should have done, but they're doing it far, far better.
Retailers who failed on the high street have failed because they have not been able to embrace the consumer in a multi-channel world. That is to say, they have only dealt with them in the physical world in the traditional way in which they're used to dealing with them, and they haven't tried to interact with that consumer in multiple ways. For example, buy online, pick up in store, or browse in store and we'll deliver to your home. John Lewis, on the other hand, have done exactly that, and they've leveraged their multiple channels and their multiple touch points with the consumer very, very effectively.
It's easy to say that HMV should have seen it coming. Back in the late 90s, and there were plenty of people who did see it coming then, they should have taken steps to really take possession of that online music market. And they didn't. They did nothing about it for far, far too long, and they just allowed Amazon to come in and take it. They should have seen the scope for streaming music, for streaming video, and Blockbuster should have done as well, but they didn't, and they've allowed other people to take it.
Many of our high streets are in trouble. About 1 in 10 high street stores is standing empty at the moment. And part of that, of course, is about weak consumer demand, which continues. But actually also it's often about some much more deep-seated issues to do with the costs of doing business, including business rates and rents, things like parking and access for customers, but also for deliveries to stores, and also often a failure to have managed those town centres as sort of cohesive entities and to have invested in them over sometimes a period of many years.
Consumers today start a purchase activity on their mobile phone and then maybe end up purchasing in store, or they start in store and end up placing the order on their PC at home. There is no single point of sales activity anymore. It is we are consumers who engage with brands in multiple ways.
It is completely artificial to make any sort of distinction between online and high street retailing. So far as consumers are concerned, it's just shopping. The net is part of the way that they run their lives now. It's totally integrated into the way they run their lives. And if a retailer doesn't integrate the net into the way it operates its business, it's going to lose out. But you know, I think almost the reverse is true as well. That a retailer that just tries to sell online is at a disadvantage. ASOS is a great business, but it doesn't have any stores. The only way it can attract people to its site is through very heavy marketing, and then it's relying on people who know the brand, the physical brand, from other outlets. It's at a disadvantage just being online.
The high street is going to change whatever happens. The concept of having hundreds of retail stores all serving consumers in the same way, I think is unlikely. That will shrink to more sort of showcase type stores, the way that Apple have demonstrated so successfully around the world with their Apple Store. I think that all retailers need to embrace consumers across multiple channels, because that's how consumers buy today.
Looking at our monthly sales figures over the last 3 months in particular, and also some of the individual company results, it is clear that the multi-channel approach is key to success or otherwise for a lot of retailers. And those who are successfully combining what they're doing online with what they're doing in stores are tending to do really well. You know, that's not to say that you can't have great success being an online-only retailer, and perhaps even just these days being a store-only retailer, but those who are combining these two things and making the most of things like click and collect and using stores as showrooms, opportunities for people to try things on, see things demonstrated, and then search out information about price and other choices and so on online, and those who've got people ordering online online, but then going collecting in store because they want the thing right away. Those who are getting those sorts of combinations right are doing really well.
We're not going to see small retailers squeezed out. It's difficult for the small retailer, but that's where new ideas come from. And one of the great things from the point of view of the long-term future of the high street that's happened in this recession is that we have had many, many more failures, that we've lost the dross. I mean, the world is a better place without Woolies, without Comet, without a whole host of underperforming retailers that just weren't giving consumers a good service. And it's made room for new ideas, for new people to come along. And I think that the high street which emerges from this recession is going to be a much more exciting and a much more vibrant place than the one that went in.